Okay. Okay. Hi. Hi. Oh shit. Hi. The fuck you. So this is gonna be like a little testing for this new model, and I don't really know how you guys gonna like it, but here we go. On Redemption by PkAnon. Chapter 2. Helichrome. The heat of the grill in Tedem, in tandem with the hot summer sun, look a look to bake Anon alive. Even in the generous shade of the tent, he picked up a towel lying on a nearby lawn chair. As he picked up a second tree of the check the second of the tree grill, dapping his forehead slightly before opening the lid. A light gaze of the smoke billowed out, filtering through numerous slits in the rooftop. He inward thanked Mayor Mare for her generosity in terms of tent quality. He grabbed a spatula and turned the patties over, in adherent time to the time constraint I'm sorry he had set to obtain the most thorough cooking job. With the badge on his latter half of the process, he set about manning the counter as the Wakeford family stopped to see what they're all fuss about. "What's all this?" the stallion of the house asked, eyeing the cluster of finished burgers sitting out of the vendor's table with curious look. Anon and the friend Anon put on the friendliest face who could ever muster as he gestured to the fruit of his labor. Veggie burger. As, as about as close as you can get to a delicacy from my home without any meat. His wife's eyebrows shot up, her attention now thoroughly affixated to them as well. "They smell wonderful. What are they made of with?" she asked. "It's black bean paste, believe it or not. The recipe is a family secret, but 100% vegetarian." Anon sweep his gaze over the few remaining plates on the table. The burgers had actually sold somewhat well. What a pleasant surprise! Which was a pleasant surprise. I'm sorry for the stuttering. He wasn't sure whether or not ponies would take it as imitation dish, simply based on a cultural reason. The closer he got to the day of the festival, the more he genuinely expected to take a fair bit of a time of home. I mean, of at home as leftovers. In reality, he had barely been able to keep pace with how many ponies had mandarined over his humble counter. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a whole lot, given that he was only the one in the tent actively cooking. Seeing people genuinely enjoying his dishes helped bringing some authenticity to his serving smile. Of course, it was mostly the bits that helped that out. He would never openly admit that, thanks to that, though. If you want, if you want to try one, you can. Annon offered. "First one's on the house." "Oh no, oh no, we'll be happy to pay," the stallion said. Annon waved his objection off and scooted a plate towards the trio. "I insist. Consider it a summer sun celebration special." The mayor's face lit up with surprise as she looked back and forth between her husband and her child. "What do you think?" she asked, zeroingly, zeroing in on the beaming Colt. Now, do you want to try some too, Hayes? He enthusiastically nodded his head, almost toppling himself over. The corner of Anon's smile crept over ever so closer to his ears as he slid one of the plates forward to be received by the stallion magic. Think, enjoy, you three. Enjoy, you three. Happy sun celebration. Happy summer sun celebration. You as well. The stallion mare said in tandem, walking off with her kids to go join the crowd elsewhere. Anon slowly slid off his face, replacing it by creepy apathy as he watched them leave. He looked down at the vendor table, only four plates left. But the festival was about to reach its apex, so he had to take a break. So he had a bit of a break soon. The patty on the grill would be with leftovers then if it all went the same as it'd been. With a sigh, he reorganized the finished plate horizontally across the front of the table before heading towards heading toward the back of the tent. Now, Chrysalis. From the ingredient storage area, Anon could hear his resident helper curse to herself as he practically laminated the maelstrom was just about to walk in on. He wondered if he could request payment from Twilight for putting up with what basically amount to babysitter. He deftly parted the curtains to the right, bracing himself for the worst. Chrysalis, for the most part, has been slightly, admittedly, when it came to delicate. Give me a second here. Fuck! That means I wasn't moving. Fuck me, dude. I hate this. Delegated to her position ready ingredient. Though she had two hoofs when it comes to actually doing it, the relative so, solitude was something she seemed to enjoy since Anna only ever interacted with her when he needed more toppings or free frozen patties. Shut up. That's all better for him, is what he would thought. He'd not walk into a versatile mess of his remaining onions on a perfectly sized table that spun the length of the back wall. There sat Chrysalis, hunched over a single hastily peeled one, spread across said table. Apart from the stacks of the other toppings, here and there was an ungodly amount of poorly diced section of the unfermented unfermented vegetables. On the dirt beneath her rested two or three onslaught failed attempts to even begin to peel the things. One of them smashed entirely. Anon did his best to quell his overwhelming frustration, but majorly, majority of which was released in a heavy sigh. Guess nobody, guess nobody's having one with an onion. Krista spun around, indignation dragging the corner of her brow for downwards. Perhaps if perhaps they would if you incompetent this pot would let me use my magic. She spun, and on cough, amused your bargain. No sell, Earth ponies and Pegasus gets on just fine, and so will you. He checked his pocket, which was as his assistant glared a hole through his head. Which one is it? Besides, the main event is about to start. We should take a break for now. There won't be anyone coming to the tent until it's over.
A bit odd to offer to reproof to your nemesis creature. A bit odd to offer a reproof.
I don't know how. I don't know. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna have reprieve, reprieve. Big word. I don't know.
Reprieve.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay.
A bit odd to offer to a reprieve to your nemesis creature.
Chrysalis jabbed with a contorted grin, and on frowned in a contempt as he pocketed his timepiece once more. You are not my nemesis. You just, you just something that I need to deal with for another few hours. Do you want to take a break or not? The onion in her hoof rolled off and thud against the tabletop, rolling indiscriminately for a moment before it came to a halt to a unsliced pickles. The former queen rose to her hoof with an air of reluctance, despite having sounded like she was quietly fighting for her life not about 5 seconds earlier. Anon inwardly smirked at her unwarranted pride, walked to the opposite end of the room and opened the second cooler, still filled with drink despite the later of the day. You don't eat. I'm guessing you still need water.
So he does possess the brain.
Chrysalis cheeked.
Or else what's left of it?
Anon Anon's eyebrow climbed high, a smirk that held fast on his features. Hold on to that wit, changeling, he said, mimicking her disrespect towards him. For him, that's all you have left now. He dug around. He dug around in the ice chest for a moment before settling the two bottles of water for now, preemptively opening for her, not of kindness, mind you. He simply didn't feel like being drenched when he inactively crushed the thing with her unwieldy hoof.
You mock the loss of my hive, do you?
She asked, her malicious voice reaching out with a curled finger.
Count your lucky. Count yourself lucky. I'm beholden within the whips of the princess of yours.
Anon, Anon knew he could draw extra out, ribs her, rib her out until she finally lost control and was locked away or turned to stone, but he didn't. As much as he would love have been to shriven clean of the tyrant insufferable present, he truly trusts that Twilight. I hate everything here. Hold on. He truly trusts that Twilight saw something in her that he didn't. Some hidden sign, an omen of who she should be tucked away in that black heart of hers. So he relented as difficult it was. I would I wouldn't be mocking of your family, Chrysalis, just poking fun. She said nothing as he landed a bottle of water to her, which she took with immense difficulty from outside. Cheers erupt from across the uh, field, uh, fairgrounds. The ceremony had started. Anon started making his way out of the vendor area, looked back as he crossed the threshold. You can sit out here if you want. Chrysalis made swing, regarded him with a simple, subtle nod of her head, beads of water trailing down the side of her maw from the sudden motion, not bothering to wait for her. He trod to the vendor table again, where he took a seat in his plastic chair. Across the field, what looked like the entire population of Ponyville was out in force surrounding the stage that Twilight and Mayor Mare had no doubt meticulously planned. In order to allow for streamlined clean, cleanup after invasion, Celestia had been chosen to postpone the ceremony until later in the day. It wouldn't have been quite the same effect as ushering in the morning, but everyone ate it up nonetheless. Fools. From where his tent had been pitched, he had clear view of the ceremony platform, laden with a migraine of intricate sun theme, decoration, and gift alike. There, the apex of the elevated floor, stood Celestia, flanked by a renewed of her guard on each side. The smile she cast out into the crowd as was a declaration of unconditional genuine with a warm regard. As she spread her wings to take her full brethren breath, the crowd roared in praise for them, as if it was she was embossment to the world, a divine figure spreading their good work among the fortune citizen whom she called her own. Fools. Anon ripped from his musing cat. He wait.
Fools.
Anon ripped from his musing, cast gazed rightwards, and found Chrysalis sitting in a chair much like his, eyeing the ceremony with vitriol. She set her bottle of water on the table and paced over to where it would be all out of her sight. If you were any more blinded by worship, oh, okay then.
If you were blinded by any more blinded by worship, I I might actually I might actually feel some more more become a pity for you.
And unshuffled in his seat as he watched the crowd indulate, undulate. The stomping hooves upon the ground felt even where he rested his feet. He couldn't blame them for regarding Celeste that way that they did, given that she had done for the world. Shoot, she was fan of hers, too. After the way she treated him when he first arrived, some ponies took it way too far, though nobody was who actually knew her beyond passing words dipping their hooves into the pestle religious idolatry. But too many she was the reason that the day existed at all. Mothers would tell their children of stories of how their very civilization came to be at the siblings' beefs. BS stories that had been thousands of that had been told thousands of times, winding back through lifeless, countless lifetime. Anon suppose that was the only reason Celestism, the fuck is that? Celestialism hadn't taken up because he was still around to stop from happening. Are they wrong to see comfort in her? Anon said quietly. Chrysalis inhaled irritatedly.
They see. Bleh.
I fucking hate this. Okay, hold on. Mm, mm. I hate burping.
They see only what been they have been told to see for generation. And what you see?
And what do you see? Chrysalis meandered back to the right of Anon, her scratching glare fixed solely on Celestia as the latter delivered her speech.
In kept, in kept for heads who deny my hive the life they deserve.
The guard nearest to her, tense as she expressed, broke for a split second, resentment radiating from beneath his armor, turning the air thick. Anon, having his head heard his armor shuffle, sought to sheer the conversation elsewhere. Anon, your hive is all right. Although, though as far as I can tell, the one who changed anyway is your criticism of her really born of caution or of jealousy. I'm sorry because I don't know why there's fruit flies in my room.
You're very incorrectly born of ignorance, he retorted. How could a creature who's only known for this world for a handful of years as equestrian, no less, possibly understanding what's best for the changing race?
And on pause as Celestia began her ascent, a golden glow illuminating her as she crescented towards the clouds. I can't,
Hmm,
she grunted.
hmm,
She grunted.
as I thought.
Even so, it wasn't difficult to see how much a changeling quality of life improvement when they had finally decided to give love freely. Higher still, she climbed the clouds, give away a wide berth in her wake so that all below could barely hear witness.
And you, and you?
Chrysalis asked.
What do you see when you look at her?
Anon continued tracking Celeste's flight. Finally, in some looked to be a heaven themselves, she slowed, circled the sun once more, twice, 3 times, or her silicone dance across a visage, each minute movement a carefree waltz. She was having fun. Oh shit, my phone about to die. There we go. She was having fun. Hold on. A one perfect flourish, she took her divine, destined place in front of the light of the day, and refract of her, showering the mortal below the radiant benevolence. The immense crowd erupted into unextremely cheers, joy aplenty. Anon squinted, lest his eyes burned out of their eye socket. Just a mare, I think, he finally answered. Nothing more, nothing less. Chrysalis eyed him up and down, her anger having given way over bewilderment. Anon met her unwavering gaze with a stone-faced conviction, assured in his disastrously straightforward analysis of the ruler character. She tooted, she tooted, breaking eye contact to stare at the ground as she tries to tripes back. Hold on, let me drink the drink. uh, Fuck. Back over towards the grill.
How presumptuous!
A silence took hold of the tent for some time as Celestia slowly descended from her otherworldly perch. As he rejoined the crowd below, Anon felt something tugging him at him, though what, he wasn't sure. Before he could dive into introspection, though, huh, a nasally poach, pooch, Cantolat accent forcefully ripped him into a present. Good sir? Anon took a surprise of his face, seeing the stallion that he called him out. The sunglasses. Shit. Fucking great. Ah, guess I have to stop the stream here because this is great.